Right, here you are in Zorro again. Going to see what's been happening in the engine room and around the forward accommodation. So it's Saturday morning, so let's go and see what's happening. Here's the paneling for the engine room and one of the templates we made for the port side. It's pretty tricky to get all these panels in, but we just have the starboard side to do now, then that forward bulkhead's done. Here's the wood, the 1-inch wood we've had ripped. We're going to have to pull all the plywood off that back bulkhead because it's so wobbly, it's all over the place. So it's easier to pull it off now and level the bulkhead off properly, then put the ply back on, and then we put the insulation and the paneling on. We spent so much time on the forward bulkhead trying to get it square because it was miles out, but it's all turned out okay now. Of course, there's the insulation. Right, here we got the port side battery racks with the empty battery boxes just sitting in place, just seeing how they fit. The racks themselves are in, we just have to put the vertical supports down to the frames to make them even more rigid. Port engine racor filter assembly, and all the paneling is now in port side all the way out to the hull. We've got our roof line, ceiling line defined now, and all the gaps there are where the other cable trays will meet them to make a bit of a freeway of cable trays around the engine room, so it's easy run. So you don't do like what Hatteras had and have about 25,000 little clamps all over the boat. So this is the fuel transfer manifold. It's actually in place now, just offering up the valves and seeing how we're going to run everything. It's going to be a nice simple system. On top of that will be the port and starboard, the AC/DC transfer pumps, and then the other set of transfer racors with the counter, and then on top of that the control box for the pumps and perhaps the gauges for the tanks. Starboard side is coming along. Should have that done by midweek next week. Same setup. Then we move on to the next stage, which is getting deeper into the fuel system, but all coming good. Here on the port side you can see where the shelf that was straddling the two frames was removed. We fiberglassed it in and painted it over, ready for cable runs. We left the hull side clear because that's all going to be getting cut and fiberglassed in dry dock. But it's that port side C-valve I'd like to enlarge and make it the same size, 3" as the other one. Then we come up into 2 strainers, and then out the strainers into a 5" manifold which goes up to the engine, so that should be ample water for the engine then. So of course that's a dry dock job, so just getting all the stuff planned and getting all the parts together so we're ready to go when needed. Here's the generator frames, pretty simple setup, nice heavy duty channel. We'll just fit them in place once we know the exact location of them for the generator. And the bulkhead here, we're gonna, like I said earlier, we're gonna have to take off the plywood and square it all out and put it back, otherwise we waste too much time trying to fit everything square. So no big deal really, but best to do it that way than just waste time either. This is the old air conditioning locker. Morris and one of the day workers has been down here pulling off all the insulation and all the little thousands and thousands of brackets and clips and clamps and everything. We'll get this all cleaned up properly and get some paint in it, and it's a good basis to start putting stuff back in. Here we're over at the workshop, and this is the steering gear, hydraulic cylinders. This is the feedback unit, our servo unit that's been rebuilt, and we're just waiting on the seal kits for the main two rams. Everything, the shafts have all been cleaned up, cylinders have been cleaned up as well, so it's all ready to go. Just waiting on the parts. Should have those Monday or Tuesday, and we'll get those back in place. So this is the style of electric box I'd like to put in the engine room. The two of these on the starboard side aft bulkhead, and one of them on the port side aft bulkhead. Starboard side would have all the AC, and I put all the DC on the port side. It's the same manufacturer that makes the MTU boxes, so everything would match. We use similar gauges, and there would just be kind of a similar layout. You would have 4 inputs, 2 shore powers and 2 generators. Nice and neat, ready to go. Won't take up that much space, which is good. Here's the starboard mounts going in. The dry fit, we just tack welded at the moment.
I'll fold it to the edge and then we'll go over.
So here's the starboard engine outboard mount, just sitting in place, tacked, just to check all the alignment, holes, layout, everything like that. Looking pretty good. So the guys will take it back to shop now, do the finish fit, and get these things welded up, sandblasted, powder coated, installed.